Hey, brother.
Hello, Hershey. Do, do I look a little
How the
red?
hell are you?
I'm I'm
Woo.
I'm overly stressed about this thing last night about getting taken over by the trolls. Um,
Well,
and then
we
I had to
have
break into my.
Mosaic here, and she won't let the trolls get us.
Oh, thank you, Jane. Have a pleasant evening and pleasant sleep. I've got subscribers mode only on, and um, you gotta you gotta subscribe to me for a day if you want to rage. Hi, Rossi.
I
I'm
twisted.
a
Hello,
little
everybody.
kerfuffled.
Just a little bit.
I'm 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 trying to get my USB camera going so I can show card cam tonight. So
We're doing a very special kind of spread tonight for you guys. It is a large spread, so won't be a lot read tonight because the spreads are very large. They are 7 card reads. The spread is called The Rose That Gives the Bees Honey. This is a read about shadow, but it is about building chain links. So it is invasive, like the Celtic Cross, but it is deeper in the ways of shadow. So we will take a few people tonight for reads, but we are not going to be doing a lot of people. So if this works out, this will be something that will be coming into shadow more frequently. If you
rotation.
guys aren't like totally like, no, I don't want that no more for shadow reads, because you guys, if you don't want that kind of spread for shadow reads, we go back and we try again. So you guys know how it works on shadow reads. So Rossi, you are going to be one of the guinea pigs tonight. So yes, it is Wednesday. Yes, we do shadow work on Wednesday, but there is a whole lot of energy going on right now. I will be bringing blah, 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 blind spots back to this channel. Um, I was moving. I didn't move them. I had been doing them recently on Morena's channel, Heart and Soul Centered, but today was my last day because I'm just really missing reading them with you guys. So I have had enough of you contact me and say, hey, bring this back. So it's coming back. Obviously, not this week. And next week is another special on Wednesday with a very special somebody that we all know and love, Twisted Sushi. So next Wednesday will be incredibly fun because we're going to do chakra checks. So you know how I do it. I just do the conscious. Thomas does. I'm sorry. I do the subconscious. Thomas does the conscious.
Conscious.
And Twisted will be doing the chakras next week. And then the week after that, we're going to hit y'all with them blind spots y'all been missing. So, Rossi, let's get this first one going. So, again, the spread is called The Rose That Gives Bees Honey. I will read subconscious. Thomas will read conscious. Thomas will be reading from the Kim Kranz Alchemy deck. I will be reading from the Kim Kranz Archetype. Got to give us a minute because we got to set 7 cards up.
And my deck is very unique. It is. It's a hexagon. That's what it is. That's what my cards are. Lord. You're going to make me stretch. I guess I'm going to go first.
Sir, if you want to.
No, I don't.
Okay, fine. All right, so I will go first then. All right, so the subconscious, we are digging into that archetype and we are digging in through a 7-card spread. The first position is called the sacred center. This is the ovary of the flower. If this card is in balance, the entire spread is a shadow read. There's no light and it is in balance, okay? Your number 1 card is the ocean. So let's make sure you're in balance, which I'm sure you are. But I want to check anyway. 10, 20, 35. 10, 20, 35. 133.
Oh.
So absolutely, the number 1 card you got was the ocean, which I still have 6 more to go. But like I said, it's going to take a minute. So you have the ocean for the number 1 card. I'll give him a second to clean that up.
I think I got it cleaned. Oh, I better not shoot this phone down into my lap, right? Show everybody my skivvies.
Oh my God! Can we get a do-over? Are we breaking up real bad? I apologize because, the internet here doesn't seem to like me. I try. All right, so your number 1 card is the ocean. So obviously, when you think about the ocean, you think about the present and you think about things stirring, right? There's always waves coming in, bringing good stuff. It belongs. So although this card represents the unconscious, it also represents a stirring, right? The ego must be dissolved. And with this being in your number 1 position, I would say that this shows that the ego is in a healthy place and you don't have too much of your superego that's needing to be dissolved because you have a good start. Your second card is the kiss, and I gotta look it up. So, let's see, 50, 60, 185. Silent. Okay. Your number 2 card is the Petal of the Past. This is a dynamic of your past that still lingers. So let's see what still lingers. What will their lips be like? Their tongue? Do they want me in return? It's not risky. It's beautiful. Intimacy. So the first word that's jumping out at me, I see is intimacy. And what I would say about this, being that it is the kiss card and this is about something that lingers, right? Because the number one card was in a positive situation, I'm going to absolutely say that this card isn't maybe necessarily negative lingers, but sometimes we never forget that first kiss of that first crush, right? So in this situation, what I think is still lingering is maybe that first broken heart, or we make a move, we like somebody, we make that first step, and then we don't get that reciprocated, right? So sometimes it could cause us to hesitate when we move forward. What I want you to understand is that it looks like that was their loss and not necessarily yours. So, whatever this is that's lingering about a sexual encounter or experience that could be slowing you down into the future of future love, what I want you to understand is that it doesn't have to linger anymore. This is something that you can let go of because we all kind of grow through that. Your third card is the offering. The third card is the petal of forgiveness. This is a feeling or an image that must be forgiven within yourself, and I'll find it in card two. So again, like I said, they all go together. So the one goes to the two to the three to the four to the five, all the way to the seven, right? So one, two, three. Your three card is the forgiveness card. So when I think about this card as an offering, and I think about that it's tied to the second card, again, when it comes back to this sexual encounter kind of situation, what I want you to understand is that you don't have to feel bad. You don't have to wish or, think that you shouldn't have made that move unless this is something totally going in the other direction and maybe you didn't want it, you know? And there is that lingering feeling of unwanted contact, right? Sometimes people make us think that our outfits should be this, our hair should be that. We shouldn't dress this certain way. We shouldn't wear our hair a certain way. We shouldn't wear certain earrings. We shouldn't wear makeup. All of that is bullshit. And you don't ever, ever, ever let somebody tell you what makes you feel sexy, loved, or comfortable. If you're comfortable in wearing something, absolutely wear it. It's not your birthday suit and you're at the grocery store, but I digress. I really don't think it is, but something with you needing to offer forgiveness to yourself is, I'm not a very sexually active person, so I'm kind of struggling with this just a little bit. But that's the best part about tonight is we're just trying it to see how it works. Um, Huh. I don't think if you didn't get the foot pop and you got more like the chills, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not for you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is that, not all love is good love. And if you didn't feel anything, then the forgiveness is that, oh, I don't really see any forgiveness in there that you would want to give to yourself. Just understand that the kiss is definitely something, number one. So to find the forgiveness in the number two, maybe it's just a soul searching situation that you need to find. But I definitely know that you have a lot to offer, and I'm kind of struggling right here. If we go to number four is the mirror, and this is the petal of the presence, right? So when you think about this is the state of our consciousness. When we think about the mirror, obviously isn't a reflection, right? If it's a smoky mirror, we definitely go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. I think Thomas is going to do so much better at this than I am. Okay. This is our illusion. Oh, okay. So not going deep enough in our self-perception, will only give us a mirror image, and it will help build the narcissist that sees himself reflected in a pool and falls in love with his own image. So, I don't want you to get distracted, and I don't want you to feel like you have that in your consciousness. But what you need to understand is that if there was something that led you to be uncomfortable, feel uncomfortable, or unappreciated, or actually just unwanted, that is not for you, again, to be kicked off of StreamYard due to Wi Fi connections. It says I'm connecting your laptop to this stream. We will disconnect if we are unable to reconnect. Can y'all not see me?
I see you.
If they kick me off of here, I am going to be highly pissed off.
Who's kicking you off?
I'm just saying I'm going to be highly pissed off.
How are you? Are you getting a private message or something?
It's on my screen.
And who's it from? What does it say? Oh boy, do I hear some swearing in the next room. Hershey, come back. What was the message saying? Okay, so just sign back in. Okay. Due to it. I'm gonna add you.
Places, I'm just saying. Okay, so look, I'm going to finish this as quick as I can. If someone is trying to give you the feeling that you are not very clear, you let them know that your mirror is very clear and you see yourself very clearly. Apparently, their mirror could be what's fogged up. If we move to the number 5, this is the offering. This is your natural gift. This gift is something that must be paid forward through service. Okay. I am not telling you that this is something that you have to give away. This is something that you do through a service, right? And you got Apocalypse. We'll see what that has to say before I get kicked out again. Hopefully, I won't get kicked out again. Let's see, 50, 60, 74, 74, 215, 215, 215. Oh, come on. Okay. Apocalypse instigates painful times, lifting up the veil. Okay, so basically, Apocalypse is basically standing back up out of the ashes, right? Not a lot of people that can do that. They don't have that Phoenix environment. They don't have that Phoenix energy, right? So it's really hard for them to pull themselves out of something and then also be able to give something positive away. But apparently you can do times and places in your life. You absolutely remember that there's something to gain here as well. And that's what you take on to the next thing. So helping people find their ash to re-rise from could be one of your gifts. And I'm seeing something about hands. Again, don't let the nakedness escape the truth of your hands. Again, I feel like you have something to do with your hands. The number 6 card is your future, something that awaits. And you got a gate. Let's see what it says. This is 50, 60, 72. right back where I was just at. Okay. So this is your future that is awaiting for you. This is like the firework that hasn't been lit, but that anticipation is there for the fireworks, right? Um, this is about honor, joy, service, and spiritual righteousness. Something in your future is going to stretch something in your spirituality, right? I can't begin to imagine what it would be, but knowing just a little bit that I know about you, I have a whole lot of good feelings that this is definitely about healing. So, this service, this honor, this joy, this thing that is waiting for you is going to be very spiritual, righteous by you. Doesn't have to be righteous by anybody else, just you. But it is also going to be something that reassures you um, that you're elevating from that moment. So whatever it is, once you get to it, you're just going to elevate the entire time. Once you start learning it and once you start igniting that fire, many of them are going to happen for you very rapidly, I think. Your seventh and final is your nourishment. This is the source of number one, which is your ocean, which is a very good place. So let's see. And you got fault line. Fault line is 10. So that would be 49. 49. Yes. 161. Yeah. Fault line. This is redefining reality and breaking something open, right? So basically, it just reiterates the number one card. The number one card meaning that you're always got that tide coming in, and the waves coming in and the tide going out, right? You're constantly refurbishing and bringing in and bringing out. So again, this is breaking something wide open to release it, right? So again, I think it's going to tie back to you with healing and maybe something with your hands. Maybe just being there to help somebody stand up will break them open and maybe help them in a lot more ways than you can even begin to imagine. It's a lot to do with your hands, honey, but it's all good on this side. So your subconscious looks really, really good. And it looks like your flowers are feeding a lot of bees. And that's what I've got for you on the subconscious side. That's a lot to read. I'll get better. I'll get better. I've only been practicing for a couple days. I'll get better.
Okay, so this is what the spread looks like. Forgive the shadows. But we have 1, 2, and down to the left, 3, 4 up top, 5, 6, and 7 is at the bottom. So, I've got 2 cards. Oh, I can't hold the phone from that side. So I've got your 7 cards, and they're all arranged. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 6. Okay, so that's what your arrangement looks like. And we're going to start out with your center or the ovary of the flower. And we have Uranus. I'm going to read what ebook says about Uranus. When Uranus strikes, we are in for a surprise. Not in the outer world, but in ourselves. What wasn't possible before is possible now, thanks to Uranus and its ability to shatter our preconceptions. This shift in perspective or identity brings newfound freedom and opens up dormant energy. For an alchemist, this may be experienced as a long awaited aha moment or a sudden stroke of genius. Inventions and innovations are born under Uranus energy. Let's see. Where do I find out if it's in balance or out of balance?
The card itself, if you get the negative words, will tell you three keywords, and it'll either be +3 or -3.
Oh, okay. So the three keywords
On the
are
right up under the
awakening,
word.
brilliance. Yeah, under the title of the card and the number. Awakening, brilliance, and individualism.
Yes.
So I would say that's going to be a positive experience overall. Wrong reading. As above, so below. Not so today. Okay. Card number 2. Is silver. So with the sacred center and the petal of the past, silver. So when we've got a card that's silver, that's one of our metals, and alchemically, we need silver to make a lot of our metals, and our jewelry. Silver is non-reactive with a lot of skin types. So when we have the past as silver, it's sort of like keeping friends around. Do you have old gold friends, or do you have newer silver friends, or are they really old friends that have tarnished? Sometimes you got to get out the buff cloth and the silver polish and polish things up so they just clean. And with the past, you keep your past as precious to you, Rossi. And I think that you've learned lessons from the past that you keep to this day. The next card is the Petal of Forgiveness. And the Petal of Forgiveness is the season of winter. So if you've ever been left out in the cold, I think that what this is saying, with winter being here, sometimes you just got to let things settle. You can't always rush things. You got to be patient and wait for the warmth to return to the earth, to plant your garden and let your flowers bloom again. And that's the Petal of Forgiveness. So if you've been impatient with yourself in the past, forgive yourself, forgive others. Are we seeing any transgressions? Are we seeing them in the right light of day, or do we just let them pass because they're a friend from so long ago, and their character? Number 4 is the Petal of Presence. Okay, well, that didn't work. I'm going to abandon that altogether. No more card cam. So the pedal of the present. So the present state of consciousness is just like our Wheel of Fortune. We have rotation. So if it doesn't look good this way, try it this way. If it doesn't look good that way, try it that way. If it doesn't look good that way, try it that way. Just be open to change is what that one is saying. Number 5, the pedal of offering. You have oil of vitriol. And from what I remember about vitriol, when the green lion appears, a great alchemical reckoning is afoot. Long-standing frustration and imbalance causes this regal creature to lash out unconsciously, consuming all in its path. And we have this in our offering. In the end, purification is the lion's aim. It is determined to get there one way or another. When this card appears, the question must be asked: am I the green lion or the sun? The one consuming or the one being consumed? It is said that finding oneself in the mouth of the lion is a necessary moment on any spiritual path. As the discomfort passes, the sunbeams shine all the brighter. And the key words are acidity, resentment, and purification. So go as an offering. I wouldn't really think that this fits, but I would say when a person transgresses against you or around you, it's okay to get upset and to say those MFing words, and that's your offering for right now. You can think about it, sleep on it, and then put it into proper perspective and come back and apologize. It's okay to do things first and apologize later. And that's how a lot of people operate sometimes. Number 6, pedal of the future. And what you have is the new growth or blooming that waits. LX. So is that 60? Yeah. It's getting up there. So when we have this LX V I didn't do my maths in Rome, so I don't know my Roman numerals.
What are you looking for?
LXVIII.
L is 50.
LX is
Which is
60 and 63. LXVII, so 68 even. Jeez.
Or 7.
You all know what a 68 is? Y'all know what a 68 is, right? You do me and I'll owe you one. Mortification. So for the card, the Petal of the Future, decay, death, and decomposition. Sometimes you have to let your garden die off before you plant a new garden. Like if you don't plant tulip bulbs every year, eventually the colors go back to yellow. You have to have new bulbs that are cross pollinated to keep the colors fresh. Otherwise, generation after generation of bulbs will go back to yellow, their natural color. So to have a beautiful garden, sometimes you have to let it go back to the earth and become of the earth and fertilize what's coming up next. And your petal of nourishment is LIV 54. It's called the Blue Temple. So the source of nourishment from which the golden flower grows, since we killed it off in the last one, we're going to see what grows this time. One more. The Blue Temple, celestial realm, the imagination and expansiveness. Welcome to the Blue Temple, the home of the alchemical imagination. You've entered a space of new depths, new possibilities. The inner eye opens and you become willing to see in a new way. To understand this card, one must study blue itself. It is the celestial color of the sky, the ocean, and the peacock's tail. Though potent, blue slips away. Through this color, our imagination spreads together experiences both grim and glorious. Think of blue films and blue ribbons, the halls of heaven, the harrows of melancholy. We are taken into the depths of mood or tone or rhythm of the blues. The internal mystery of the blues will only deepen as we study it. This is precisely the point. Leave the cerebral behind. Take your brain out of it. Cloak yourself in the sapphire robe and sit quietly in the vault of mysteries. Oh, Rossi, that is so deep. Hello, Gerald.
I really like that. That was definitely deep.
Yeah, wow. Okay, well, I am going to have to study this deck a little more, but I like that it goes through seasons, that it goes through colors, that it goes through metals. It's just this big logical equation with all these cards. So, yeah, it's going to take more study on my part, but I'm liking what I see so far. So, Gerald, I think we got it figured out how to make a subscribers only mode. So if they're not a subscriber for a day, they don't get to comment. We like that.
Let's hope that helps you with your troll problem.
Yeah, well, I think so. And I hope that Fatima comes back because they were particularly ugly to her in the comments. And so sorry that happened.
I can imagine it being about as ugly as the phone call you got today.
Oh, well,
Gerald, we are both using Kim Cran's Thomas is using Kim Cran's Alchemy, and I am using the Kim Cran's Archetype. We're the same spread, but we're doing it how we do it, conscious, subconscious. But we're doing a very specific kind of read tonight, and I want to incorporate it, but I want to see how it's going to flow, being that it's 7 cards. Kind of playing with it tonight.
And the guidebook, well, the known alchemy guidebook, and these beautiful hexagonal cards, just luscious, luscious color. Hard for me to shuffle, but I can cut them a million times and make the deck shuffle.
It's a very nice day. Okay, we got 19 minutes. Does anyone else want to try it? Just for GP. Like I said, it's not actually mandatory ever, but it's also not gonna make it into rotation if Thomas and I feel like right. It's not about reading the card, because everybody can read in a deck. It's actually about invasively having to look at yourself through the process of these 7 cards, because you can't go 1 to 6. You have to go 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and it could get invasive. You don't know what you're agreeing to. Boy, you could have never lied on that one. Gerald! Oh, wait. Twisted said, I will, if that's okay. So, Twisted, I will star you, and you will be right after Gerald. And then that will be it for the night. Just like I said, this is just to see if it's going to go into our rotation. Me. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. No, do Gerald.
This is the flower, the 7-card arrangement. This is the flowers that feeds the bees. Reading. We have the Sacred Center, Petal of the Past, Petal of Forgiveness, Petal of Present, Petal of Offering, Petal of Future, and Petal of Nourishment. So, are we doing Gerald?
Yep. And then Amanda, if she still wants one. So the main cards is the 1 and the 7. So I am letting Thomas try to learn how to use my card cam, and then he can teach me how to use it. So you're just going to have to trust me when I say it's in a circle. So the number 1 card is in the middle of 6 cards. The number 1 card is the Sacred Center. This is the ovary of the flower. This card influences the entire spread. If this card is negative, the entire spread is a shadow read. I'm sorry, not negative. If it's imbalanced. If it is imbalanced, then the entire read is a shadow spread. If it is imbalanced, then basically this is just a quick check through and make sure everything is going okay, and that you are making sure that your ovary is feeding the bees. You can take that for what you want in your mind concept, but it's what it means. So your number 1 position is the internal child. And I do have to read a little bit of the book because I need to make sure. Okay, so this is actually a Joy Child card. So this is actually very positive. When this card does show up, it shows up for life, right? It doesn't show up when you hit the lottery. It doesn't show up when you didn't pay your water bill. It shows up for life, right? When you are productively being the citizen and you are actively living your life, then that joy child within you is happy. So you're starting off in a very good position. Your number 2 card is the bridge. Flip the flip the flip. 10, 20, 30. Dum, 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 dum. 139. 139, the bridge. Okay, so the number 2 card is the petal of the past. The dynamic of this past still lingers, right? So what this card is the bridge, but because we are not in an imbalance, this is more like just kind of like a shadow check, and we're just kind of doing a light read. So with this being here, and as you can see, it is a bridge. You're combining one thing to another thing, right? There is something with acceptance, though, right? This is not a yes card. I know that you want it to be a yes card because it says the fun word, the bridge, right? Building something to connect two things together. But when there is an infracture, you can't build a bridge, right? So, what I want you to understand is that something in communication maybe slowed down a bridge, slowed down the development, or a forced connection was made that wasn't genuine. So, what I want you to understand is that whatever it is that's lingering, that's holding on, that needs to be let go of, I don't think looking at the 1 and the 2 that it's actually you that needs to let go of something. It almost looks like somebody needs to let go of a thought of you, right? Because it's not necessarily detrimental to you, but obviously the way that someone is seeing you, there is a communication or a forced connection that maybe isn't deserving. Your number 3 card is the 3. Or I'm sorry, your number 3 card is the unseen. This one is your petal of forgiveness. This is an image or a feeling that must be forgiven. The clue is in card 2. And OMG, I keep going back to that forced, right? Like that word forced is just jumping out at me. Forcing a connection can literally put a bad taste in someone's mouth about somebody and about everybody that's in their life because it makes them want to look like they're all part of the same birds kind of flock together kind of situation, right? Birds of a feather. What I want you to understand is something unseen. And again, I want it to not be that, but bridges are sacred. And if something was forced, unaccepting, or just poor communication, burn that damn bridge down. Tear it down and start all over. Blow and realize that the connection is worthy or it isn't worthy. But what we're not going to do is going to allow people to be forced across the bridge when they don't want it to begin with. So, lack of forgiveness or an image. This could be a certain person, a bully, an old friend that's no longer a friend, that has made it to the foe side. What you're looking at in this situation is that anybody that forces you to do something, they're not doing it for your best. They're doing it for their best, for them to be able to say, yeah, I had to make them do it. And anything to hold that thumb on you, right? So make sure that whatever this image is or this word or this feeling, you can remove it because it doesn't seem like it's your forced thought. It seems like it could be a forced thought that was forged with a lack of communication. Your number 4 spot is Bardo. The number 4 spot is the petal of prayer. We are going to 50. Where am I going to find 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 163. Okay. So the keywords that are jumping out for me right here, when you think about the state of consciousness, this is about grace. the first word that pops out at me is grace, transition, truth without torment, right? So, hypothetically, blind spot reads, right? When we are giving those blind spot reads, we are not giving that read in torment. We're not trying to torment anybody, right? But somebody that necessarily can't see that, maybe they see you as being shallow when somebody hears this, right? So, what this is in your consciousness, that 3 position, and find that forced forgiveness, right? And then remove it. Because now we can't even force a forgiveness because of the bardo, right? So think about this in your conscious as you're moving forward and you're going with grace, right? So continue to go forward with grace as you're moving into the tweens, right? When you think about the liminal, the in-betweens, and the transition that comes with the Bardo card, there is a lot of received messages that are no longer serving. Got that? No longer serving. So, however you see this individual, this image, or this feeling that feels forced, let it go back to being unseen. We're not going to put this bridge here. We're going to get rid of the bridge. Your number 5 card is the Mystic, and this is the offering. Here's your card. This is the petal of offering. This is the natural gift or talent that you are born with that must be offered to others through service. Obviously, Mystic, we know who you are. You're incredibly talented, not to mention you're a hell of a wizard. But what I can tell you when it comes to the Mystic is that a lot of people don't give mysticism a lot of time. Right? You think about the Mystic. Sometimes you get that supernatural kind of feeling. 10, 21, 21, the Mystic, 103. So the first words coming out are leaker. This is a removal of darkness, becoming a visionary, and finding ageless knowledge, right? So with you being what you are, connected to the guides you're connected to the earth itself with your magic, with what you practice every single day and that you give away. You definitely give away your talent as much as you can, but always remember that there is change around every single corner. So if you find yourself at a stalemate with giving away all the time, what you need to understand is maybe that's not the gift you're supposed to be giving away. You give away knowledge, you give away love, you give away hope, you give away all kinds of blessings all the time. But in the mystic point of view, only from your throat should you be understanding the riddles that go between light and dark. But that's for you to figure out. That's not the part you have to pay forward. That's the part they have to work on, right? So remember, as the mystic and as you're giving it away, don't be, or I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but don't give the cold cow away for free. But absolutely remember that what you're giving away is what you're comfortable with giving away. You don't have to give away everything because of how powerful this card is in so many ways that so many people are never aware of. So make sure that you understand that there is a limit when it comes to this card, and that sometimes those rhymes and riddles in the middle isn't for the person receiving, it's for this person to understand where to stop. And I think that's where you balance everything else out. If it's just your Fanthorpe and you put a cute little ending on it, or you give it a spoonful of sugar because the medicine was a little rough. Either way you do it, you are making sure that you're staying in the middle and you're not going too much in one direction or the other. Just make sure you're not giving the whole cow away for free, because Mystic is a strong gift and you don't want to give that all away. Your sixth position is the mother. This petal is the petal of your future. This is something that's growing and awaits you. It's not ready. You can't light the wick yet because it ain't the 4th of July, so you can't set off them yet. The number one card. Dum, 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 dum. All right. So obviously, this is about the Great Mother and also the feminine, the moon. Also, the other counterpart, the source. And it also can prohibit growth, right? Literally goes hand in hand. So, what you want to do is you want to be on earth planes at all times, especially when you are in the mother energy. You want to glow, you want to generate, you want to be creative, and you want to have nourishing. But what you don't want to be is exhausted for when that gift comes in, right? So when you think about this one, and there's a clue in here that goes back to the number 5 position. That number 5 was about the mystic, right? And how you can give too much away. Sometimes you have to know when to cut things off. And I think this is a great thing when it says that the mother is very nourishing, but she can also prohibit growth. She can stunt that growth as well, right? So make sure that you are staying in the middle of it. I know it's incredibly challenging, but whatever it is that's waiting for you, it's in the middle waiting for you. So it's in a safe place. So make sure that you take your time getting to it, because it's ready for you doesn't mean you're ready. And I'm not saying you're not ready, but there is something that needs to be addressed, especially when it comes to the earthly plane and you balancing your energies out so that you can ignite the flame as soon as you get there. But don't rush it and don't go too slow. It's waiting for you when you're ready. Your number 7 is the petal of nourishment. This is a source that started the number 1, right? So again, when I have to, sorry to have to keep going back and forth to the book, but it is what it is, and I have to go back to the book. I have to go back to the book, but I gotta remember where the table contents is. 50 grands never makes it easy. 175. I won't think I'll pass on the next one. So this one, this wasn't about a dreamer. So what am I thinking here? The vision. The vision can elude us or it can connect us. It can carry or inspire, enhance, make us feel alive, recognize us, but it can also show us missed doors, new opportunities, wondrous opportunities, and where we missed the sync. Think about this, and I tie it back to the number 1 card, which is about the joy child, right? The internal child. This is actually a good thing because a lot of times we tell a child to dream big, right? So in this vision, maybe you didn't dream big enough. And you're now looking back thinking, I should have been that firefighter I was dreaming of, or I should have bought that yacht that I was dreaming of, or, I should have bought that lottery ticket last night. Anytime you look back and you think of the shoulda, the woulda, the couldas, that's when you're stealing that joy child's joy, because the vision of what was versus what is and what will be is all in the perception of change, right? We can't change our past, but we can own up to it. We can change our present, but we have nothing to do with our future because it hasn't happened yet, right? So make sure that you understand, as you are building and manifesting in your present, You are using strengths you gained from your past and not allowing them to stop you from seeing the visions of what is your future to come. Even though it isn't here yet, what ahead of you is potent. And that is the key word that is jumping out at me. So, whatever it is, it's very potent, it's very powerful. And I believe the moment you were born, it started to become a reality for you. And I think you're getting closer and closer to it. You just haven't reached it yet, but you're going to. And that's what I've got for you for the subconscious side.
Wow. Big read. Okay, we're gonna try card cam again. Let's see. So this is what your layout looks like. Um, with these hexagonal cards, it is a beautiful thing. So Gerald, we start out. Remember, this is called the rose that gives the bees honey, and we're gonna start out with your center card. And look what it says about your center card: sugar, where the sacred center. So sugar is the sacred center of the rose that gives the bees honey. Where do the bees go? They go to the center of the flower to drink the nectar to go back and produce the honey. It takes 10,000 bees to make a teaspoon of honey. So that is a lot of work. Your next card, let's see, is Petal of the Past. Well, what do you know from the Petal of the Past? We have. That's wise salt. So you know your basic kitchen chemistry. To make sugar sweeter, you have to balance it out with a little salt. If you don't put salt in your cookies or in your baking, your cakes, they're not going to have flavor. They'll just be sweet. They won't taste the same. You've got to balance out that sweet with a little salt. And if you're on a low salt diet for any amount of time, you can pick up the taste of salt in things like ice cream, cookies, cakes. You actually can taste a grain of sugar against a grain of salt. So, and that does balance things out. The next is your petal of forgiveness. And I don't think you have to forgive yourself for being the androgyne. And what this means is the artist you create. And I don't think you ever have to be forgiven. The only thing that might be a negative for you is that you run out of time to create. There's so many ideas flowing in you that you can't conceivably get them all out and realized. So I think you prioritize when necessary and produce your art as you need to. Petal of the present is synchronicity. So you realize the coincidences right away. You know the rhythms of life, and you know when it's an appropriate season for things to happen. So I think that is uh, a great equalizer for you, is just letting synchronicities just be that. You're hyper aware of when synchronicities happen, and this is not the wheel of fortune. These are just signs and symbols along the way every day that make life and the world around you just make sense, and you have that belief in creator or source, and it just gets proven day after day after day when you see these synchronicities occur. Your next is the petal of offering, and we have the red and white rose. Again, we're dealing with something that looks like a flower, and the reading is called the rose that gives the bees honey. So the red and the white rose, you realize that you have to have variety, and so when you give things to people, you really think of their aesthetic and their harmony, and what they like, and you're cognizant of giving them the colors that fit into their life. You wouldn't make something 70s lime green, orange, and yellow. You would give them the current colors, or the colors that they wear, or the colors that they decorate in. You wouldn't put them out of time. The next card, number 6, is the Petal of the Future. And it's called Against Nature. And I do have to read a little bit about this one. So, LVI 56. Willfulness or to force control. So, in the future, I think this means that you're going to get stronger and more insistent on, instead of going with the flow. I think that you'll actually insist on controlling things because you have a method to your madness, and you've got your procedures, and you've got your lists that you operate by, and you know that if you do this, this, and this is what the outcome is going to be. So you don't leave things to chance right now, but I think you get even more detail oriented in the future. And the last one is the Petal of Nourishment. What's your Petal of Nourishment? You have the Autumn card, and I just turned the camera off. Oh, well, what's it doing? Well, it's not behaving. Okay, so let's get card game out of here. So, give me the Petal of Nourishment. So the growing season's over. You harvest your crops, and then any waste or hulls, or the corn crops, you either grind them up for silage for the cattle and the livestock, or you turn the soil and use the stalks to enrich the soil for the next season, and then you're also cognizant of not planting corn in the same field year after year. You're going to rotate the crops so you don't deplete the essential resources that are in the soil, but would get depleted year after year after year, trying to fertilize your crops. Yeah, more detailed version of Gerald, and he's going to be Superman because he gets it all done. He's well organized, and then that means a lot of people will dump on you and say, "Hey, Gerald, would you do this?" And then you've got to rein it back in and do what you're willing to do and what you're passionate about. And that is the reading for you, Gerald. We got one more.
I love it. No, I think Amanda said no, do Gerald, and we were only gonna do one or two just to see how it went. So honestly, Rossi and Gerald, I wish I had more than 2 days practice, and I promise the next time it comes, I will have a lot more practice. But y'all know I am just now starting to get into the spread game, so. I got to work on it, you guys. Me and spreads are not friends, but I'm working on it. Oh, man. I'm working on it. So, with practice, I will get better. I will find me some guinea pigs on the weekend, and I will crunch. And it won't be next week because next week we have a very special live next week with Amanda from Twisted G. We will be checking chakras right along with just normal shadow work. So next Wednesday we will be back on our also scheduled time, but we had to work around a doctor's appointment today that ultimately didn't happen, but that's okay because life is just and we're always prepared, so we don't have to get ready.
Oh, it was going to be a physio massage.
Next Wednesday at
it was not a doctor.
Well, yeah, it's still doctor's orders, but it didn't happen. So you and Spreads need to go on some more coffee dates and get to know that. I'm gonna need more coffee.
May I tell you about Hershey? Hershey.
I don't know who we telling.
Celtic Cross. Hershey did a Celtic Cross spread for her, and did a general life reading on her. And how invasive was that Celtic Cross spread?
I felt violated. I felt violated. I ain't gonna lie. I felt violated. Like, how do you know me? And I just touched you like 5 seconds ago. So I had never even touched the deck before. And it was just like spitting all my business out. And, all up in my business. I'm going to work on it, guys. I'll be your guinea pig anytime.
So I gave her a roadmap.
I know you will, Rossi. And that's why I love that of yours. But in theory, I will say that it did go a little more smoothly than I had anticipated. But it is a lot of book reading because of how in-depth it is. And believe it or not, just to sit here and read the deck, I can sit here and tell you all about it when I'm just reading it as an oracle, or I'm pairing it with my with this archetype deck, just to see if they align. But I still got a little bit to go with actually getting comfortable with the spread because, like I said, you have to do the 1 to the 2, the 2 to the 3, the 3 to the 4, blah, blah, blah. But I will get it, and we will try it again in a couple of weeks. How do you feel about it, bro?
I loved it. It speaks to me because it's got different sections of cards instead of suits. We've got the 4 seasons, we got the 10 metals, we've got it's it's not the same like through and through. It's not like 6 cards of 20 different things. Some are 5, some are 3, some are 15. So all the different suits that you have and different pieces, I like to fit the mechanics of those things together. So I do like to research. Let's qualify that. The things that I want to research, I do like to research. The things that I fight tooth and nail. You haven't seen that behavior, have you?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Well, let's work on getting you a copy since you are really getting into the deck. That way we can both use the same deck, maybe down somewhere. Because that might be where I kept getting hung up because I kept looking for the alchemy and I wasn't finding the archetype. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Just keep playing with it. We will keep working it out. What do you got coming up, bro?
Friday the 12th, I'm going to be a guest on Sherry, Voices from the Swamp. So I'll be visiting the Gators in Louisiana and meeting with a great university administrator, and we will be slinging some cards and talking foolishness.
That sounds wonderful.
Next week in this slot, Amanda Twisted Zushi will be with us doing chakra reads. I'll do conscious, she will do subconscious, and Amanda will check your chakras for you. So should go a little quicker than this because I only do like a 3-card type reading. It's not this 7. It's not the 7 and all the thinking that you have to do to get the inner relationships going with these cards. Sunday is class, and it is 4 Pentacles, yes. Our Miser. So if any creator has a card that they want to, a special card they want to do, we've gone through the major arcana and the wands, and we're about midway through the numbered cards and coins. So if you got anything in coins, swords, or cups that you want to get in on, just let me know. Maybe in the future, because I'm doing ace through 10 of each suit and then wrapping up with the 16 court cards. And we just do an hour each Sunday. It's very detailed, and then I've been condensing the videos together. So maybe later I can bundle up and offer a class for, a couple dollars. But once the series is over, I think I will bundle it and make it available only as a class. And what do you have coming up, Hershey? You said something about tomorrow afternoon. Hershey, did I lose
you? No, you didn't lose me, but my internet is shit tonight. No. I believe we have Gerald Jans coming up this week. I think. I'm pretty sure it's this week. Maybe not. Gerald, do we have Jans this week?
No. It's like, well, I know we have a deck casual coming up, but that
I don't know.
Definitely not this week. Something went wrong. Okay, well, it always goes wrong.
Yes, Jan's on Friday. I thought so. Yes, I thought so. We're still waiting on the link and all of that, but Friday Friday, I am with Gerald. And I also have, which I was supposed to get her name, but I did not get her name. But it's at 5 o'clock, and I will get it up on my community page. I just don't have it right at the second. And then I've got Jans with Gerald and Thomas. Monday, well, Sunday is class, and then Monday got meta messages. Tuesday, I am with Gerald again and Hexa for more of our laugh and learns. Next Wednesday is a very special one. Thomas just told you guys about. And Thursday, I have two privates, and I think I'm gonna do Charmed again with Jane. Probably early in the Jane and I get up pretty early, and then I have a pre-record with PD on another crime read that will be released at 5 on Thursday. And well, I'm just gonna stop right there. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. So lots and lots coming up. And like I said, we are going to be doing some serious deep dives because we're coming to the end of our 1 year shadow work that Thomas and all of you beautiful gems have been kicking in and helping. And by helping, I mean helping yourself, not helping us in any way. You're helping yourself learn how to journal, what kind of questions that will bring the ownership out. This is not an easy course. And for those of you that have been here through and through on Wednesdays, you guys deserve all kinds of hand claps and pats on the back because you guys have come a long way in your shadow work. I don't have anything else other than I'm ready for a cigarette. How about you, brother?
Yeah, I could go for that.
Absolutely.
Just need to put everything together.
All right, guys. Until next time.
Remember, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and go out and make it a great night. Bye, everyone.